During this escrow period, there's different things that are going to happen. So during your escrow period, and depending on how you wrote up your offer, generally it's 30 days. We do see sometimes a cash buyer might close in 10 to 15 days, or sometimes it could be stretched out to 45 days. That's all written up in the purchase agreement and is already in contract. But during this escrow period, there's different things that are going to happen. One is the contingencies that come into play that were written in the purchase contract. 3 contingencies are inspections, appraisals, and your loan. All of these things need to be satisfied, and you don't check off on that until they are. So let me break them down for you. Number 1 is going to be your inspection period. This is generally 10 to 15 days that you have as a buyer to do your due diligence to make sure that the home you're purchasing isn't a lemon and doesn't have any major issues. Now, all homes are going to have some issues. They're not all perfect, especially if they're older, and things will be negotiated depending on what the findings are. So during this time period, you're going to have a home and pest inspector come in. If it's an older home and we're uncertain about the roof, we would suggest a roof inspector as well. And if it's a rural property, septic and sewer would be a good idea. And of course, if there is a pool in the backyard, we want to get the pool inspected and the equipment. So costs involved here could be anywhere from $300 to $400 to $700, $800. It depends on how many inspectors are involved and how big the property is. So the home and pest inspector are generally always the first ones to go out. They go out usually on the same day, and it'll take them 2 to 3 hours to completely go through the house top to bottom. They are going to check everything out. Afterwards, you get to do a walkthrough with them, and they'll go through all their findings as well as suggested repairs. The next day, you will get a very, very detailed itemized report with the suggestions on repairs as well as photos for reference. This you will be going over with your realtor, and you're going to decide what you want to ask of the seller. And once that is satisfied, you will then remove that contingency. The next contingencies are your appraisal and your loan. So if you're not a cash buyer, you're obviously getting a loan on the property. Your lender is going to be sending an appraiser out to the property to make sure that the value of the property is there. And that usually takes about 17 days for that contingency to be removed. So let's say the appraiser came in low. You bought a house for $500,000, but it came in at $490,000. Well, a couple things are going to happen. Either you, the buyer, have to make up the difference so that it satisfies your lender, or we may go back to the negotiation table and you will ask the seller to lower the price. Again, here's where a good realtor comes into play because there's a lot of negotiations involved here. And then the third is your loan. So this whole time behind the scenes, your loan officer, your lenders, they're working really hard to gather all the paperwork from you and to make sure that they get a loan processed for you. At the end of about 20 days, we're going to remove all those contingencies as far as making sure that they're all satisfied, of course. And then at that point, you're pretty much clear to close. You're maybe a couple days before the end of the escrow period. And one of the final steps that you will do is a final verification of the property. Now remember, you've probably not been there for 30 days since you first saw it, or the inspection day you were possibly there, but it could be 20 days or more. So one of the final paperwork that needs to be put into play is a verification of property. And this is the buyer's final walkthrough with your realtor. And you're just going to make sure that the property is the same as it was when you put your offer in. Doesn't always go as planned. I mean, we've seen sellers take things that they should not have taken that should have been left with the offer, like fountains, chandeliers, mirrors in the bathroom. So you just never know what happens. So you get to do your final walkthrough. Once you're satisfied, you will sign off on that. Another person that's involved in the whole process is the TC, or transaction coordinator. And that's basically my assistant who makes sure that all the important documents and contracts have the correct signatures and initials. All of these go into the title company as well. And if everything is satisfied and everything has gone as planned, everything's been negotiated, checked off, signed, initialed, you finally will get the keys to your house. Thank you for watching my buyer process video series. If you have any questions, please comment below. Let me know what I can help you with. Feel free to reach out to me, visit my website. And if there's anything I can do for you on the real estate front, just ask. And please consider subscribing to my channel. I host real estate related topics as well as what's happening in the Sacramento community. Please give me a thumbs up. This is a new video series for me. And hit the notification button to be notified of future videos.